Ever feel like your arms came out wrong? Too long and lanky, or too short and stubby, like you drew the leftover build. That length isn't random. Every inch got tuned for a job your ancestors had to do, and your arms still run that old program. The long pull, long arms. If your wingspan turns heads before you say a word, this is you. Long reach. Pull-ups that never scared you. You've known since you were a kid, really. Sleeves always a touch too short. The one picked to grab the top shelf. In the water and on the mat, you're the puller. Every stroke you take moves more than a shorter arm ever could. Here's why. A long arm is a long paddle. It reaches into the water farther ahead and pulls through a longer path. So each stroke grabs more water and drives you farther down the lane. Fewer strokes per length, less gas burned per race. Coaches call it distance per stroke, and it wins pools. Michael Phelps is the clearest proof alive. He stands 6'4", but his arms span 6'7". 3 extra inches of reach on every single pull. He turned that into 23 Olympic golds. 3 inches? 23 golds. Read that again. It shows up on land too. In a boxing ring, reach is an official stat, measured fingertip to fingertip, right next to height and weight. Tyson Fury carries an 85-inch reach, one of the longest the heavyweight division has ever seen. A long jab lets him tag a man who can't touch him back. A few inches of reach can swing a whole fight. In wrestling and jiu-jitsu, long arms wrap deeper and choke from farther out. On the rowing machine, they drag a longer stroke, the same math as the pool. Anywhere the game is reach and pull, your build was handed a head start, but long arms come with a catch. And you felt it. On the bench, the bar has farther to travel, so pressing feels like a fight you keep losing. The mirror calls you weak. The mirror is lying. You were never built to push. You were built to pull. And reach isn't a guarantee. In the pool, a shorter-armed swimmer can still win by spinning their arms faster. Kosuke Kitajima stood 5'8" and took the breaststroke golds anyway. Outturning longer men. Long arms load the dice. They don't roll them for you. Where did this build come from? Hot, open country. Bodies near the equator grew longer arms and legs to shed heat, more skin to bleed warmth into the air. Your ancestors ran long so they wouldn't cook under the sun, and the reach came free with it. But that same length steals pushing power. You pull the world toward you. You don't shove it away. And for a body built to shove, the tribe needed the exact opposite. The crushers. Short arms. Meet the crushers. They run short and close. If bench press felt easy the first time you tried it, but you lose every fight for the top shelf, this is you. Off a bench, few people can touch you. You turn muscle into force better than almost anyone. Here's the mechanics. A short arm is a short lever. The bar travels a shorter path to lock out, and the weight sits closer to your joints. Closer weight, less force fighting you, more pounds moved. Shorten the path, and the same muscle presses more. It's why the biggest raw bench numbers keep landing on short-armed lifters, year after year. It's the same reason short-limbed athletes own the squat rack and the Olympic platform. Less distance to drive the bar means more of your strength lands on the weight instead of getting lost in the trip. Gymnasts, too. Compact arms are easier to hold dead, still on the rings, where a longer lever would shake and fold. And it isn't just the gym. Get in close, and short arms hit harder. Mike Tyson had one of the shortest reaches in heavyweight history, just 71 inches. On paper, that's a death sentence against taller, longer men. Tyson made it a weapon. He slipped inside the reach into the range where long arms are useless and unloaded from point blank. The men he flattened were bigger than him. Reach means nothing once you're chest to chest. But you already know the price. Pull-up bars sit too high. Deadlifts feel unfair because the bar has farther to climb before it clears your knees. You reach for the top shelf and come up an inch short every single time. Long pulls and high grabs belong to someone else. Your gift is force. Up close. This build shows up in cold country. Go back to the Neanderthals. They had short, thick arms and legs, the far ends of the limbs cut down to hold heat in an Ice Age world. Those same stubby, strong limbs made a frame built for hauling. Shorter levers meant more force to drag a carcass across the snow, more grip to carry wood and stone. Warmth and raw strength came bolted together. But whole arm length is only half the story. Two people with the same reach can still be built for opposite jobs. It comes down to which part of the arm runs long. The whip. Long forearm, short upper arm. Take two people with the same reach. On one, the forearm is the long piece, and the upper arm sits short. That's the whip. You feel it when you flex. Long forearm, compact bicep. You were the grabber. Fast hands, long reach at the fingertips. Quick to snatch something in from far out. Here's why. Think of a swing as a chain. Force starts at the shoulder, runs down to the elbow, then out to the hand. Each link passes speed to the next. The last link is your forearm, and the longer it is, the faster its tip travels on the same swing. Picture cracking an actual whip. The handle barely moves, but the tip moves so fast it snaps the air. Because speed keeps building as it runs down the length, your forearm does a smaller version of that every time you throw. That whip is deadly in anything built on hand speed. A tennis serve, a baseball throw, a straight punch that lands before the other guy sees it leave. It shows up in fencing, in cricket, in any sport where the tool in your hand has to move fast. The longer the lever, the faster the tip. The catch is force. A long forearm is a heavy lever to curl. The weight sits far out from your elbow, so your biceps has to work harder to bend it. Raw curling isn't your gift, and here's the part that stings. In the mirror, your arms can look long and thin even when they're strong. You're not weak. You're built for speed, not for show. Where does a long lower arm come from? The far ends of the limbs, the forearm and the shin, change most with climate. In hot country, they run long to dump heat. Warm blood ancestry, long forearms, fast hands, but speed at the hand doesn't move a heavy load. For a build that curls and holds like a machine, you flip the ratio. The vice. Short forearm, long upper arm. Say hello to the vice. When you flex, the bicep looks full and the lower arm looks stubby. Curls feel almost too easy. You were the power arm. Slow to reach, but brutal once you got hold. Here's the geometry behind it. A short forearm is a short resistance lever. The weight you curl sits closer to your elbow, so your biceps fights across a smaller distance and wins. Heavy holds feel light. That short lower arm also keeps a load tucked tight to your body when you press or carry. It's the build that owns lockoffs on a climbing wall and heavy farmers' carries. The stuff where you clamp down and refuse to let go. Arm wrestling is almost a pure test of it. The shorter your forearm, the harder you are to outlever, and the more of your strength lands where it counts. And that grip runs deep in the story. The same Ice Age ancestors who grew short, thick limbs to survive the cold turn that build into a job. A stronger, more compact frame is better for dragging and carrying heavy things. An animal off the hunt, wood, stone, short far ends, big engine close to the body. Strength you could lean your whole weight on. The cost is reach, and you feel it daily. You lose the race to the top shelf. Your straight punch lands short. In a mirror, your arms can look thick but stubby, more bulldog than cheetah. No flaw in that. That's a body tuned to hold and haul, not to flick and reach. But length and ratio still aren't the whole game. Two arms can measure exactly the same and still pull with different force. The difference hides inside the muscle itself in a spot you've probably never looked. The wild card. Bicep insertion. Here's the one you can't see coming. Flex your arm as hard as you can. Look at the space between your bicep and the crook of your elbow. Some people show a big gap. Some show almost none. If yours fills right down to the joint, this is you. Your arm cheats the math. It makes more curl force than its size says it should. The mechanics behind it? That gap is your bicep insertion. The spot where the muscle ties onto the bone. Tie on low, close to the elbow, and the muscle pulls on a longer lever. More force, less effort, every single rep. A high tie-on leaves that gap, and a weaker curl, though it can look more peaked when you flex. This is the quiet reason the gym feels so unfair. Two guys train the exact same way, eat the same, sleep the same. One curls more and grows a taller peak, and he never earned it on the floor. He was born with it. Insertion is set before you lift a single pound, and no amount of training will move it. So stop measuring your arm against the guy next to you. His arm isn't better. It came off a different blueprint. Now, here's the twist. This one isn't printed by a place or a climate. No ancestral homeland set it. It's the roll of the dice inside your own family line, handed down arm to arm. Keep it in perspective, though. The edge is real, but small. It won't make you a champion on its own, but it might explain why your curls always felt a little easier, or a little harder, than they had any right to. So far, every build has a job, but some arms refuse to pick one at all. The all-rounder, balanced arms. And then there's you. Nothing about your arms jumps out. Not long, not short, not stretched, not stubby. Pressing and pulling both feel about even. You were the one who could do a bit of everything. When the job kept changing, the tribe leaned on the body that never got stuck. Your levers sit near the middle. No single motion is your superpower, but nothing is your weak spot either. You've got enough reach to pull and enough short lever punch to press, without the price that comes with living at either extreme. The long-armed puller can't press with you. The short-armed presser can't reach with you. You do both, at maybe 80%. That's why the sports that ask for everything at once fill up with this build. Mixed martial arts, rowing, the kind of training where 1 week you sprint, the next you carry, the next you climb. Look at the best all-around athletes and you rarely find a freak limb. You find balance. A decathlete has to sprint, throw, jump, and vault across 2 days. And a wild arm that wins one event would sink another. The middle build is the only one that can show up for all 10. Here's the part nobody tells you. The world keeps screaming at you to specialize. Pick a lane. Go all in on one thing. But your edge was never one thing. It's that you don't break when the game changes. You're rarely the best in the room at any single move. You're almost never the first to fall apart when the rules shift. Middle of the road sounds boring. It's the setting that survives when the road keeps changing. This build tends to come from mixed country, where the seasons swung and the land kept changing, no single specialty paid off. A body that could do everything, a little, outlived the body that did one thing perfectly. Every arm is a trade between reach and force. Bone length and lever points decide which way yours leans. Long to pull the world in, short to push it away. And a lot of people sit somewhere in the middle. And here's the part most people miss. You don't feel your build on a normal day. You feel it under load, under a heavy bar, in a real fight, when the reach either saves you or sells you out. That's when the 1,000-year-old wiring wakes up. So here's the question. Which arm did you get? Drop yours in the comments. I am Noah, and I'll see you in the next video.